What's good? What's good? I'm back. Yours truly, one and only Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, world events, and much, much more. Today, we're gonna have a guest interview. We got a musician from Montreal, Canada, ACTheKidFromSpace. We're about to bring him in right now. See if we can bring him in.
What's up, bro? How's it going, man?
How you doing?
Is the audio all right for you?
Yeah, sounds pretty good, man.
All right, bless. Yeah, it's on the webcam. If not, I could switch it to the mic here, but I don't know how good it'll be, man.
It looks pretty good. Looks pretty good.
All right, bro.
I basically like to start from the point of was there a name before the name?
Yeah, so pretty much, I mean, when I first started, it was just AC. You know, like since I used to play ball, I used to play football for like 13 years. So when I was in college and everything, everyone just used to call me AC. You know what I mean? So that's kind of where it came from. I mean, it is my initials as well.
Okay.
Um, but the kid from space. So I felt like AC was too generic at one point. You know what I
Okay.
mean? So at a certain point, I'm like, I got to stand out a bit. So I started thinking a little bit, and I always felt like growing up, I was a little bit of an outcast. Um, I always kind of just did my thing, no matter what people thought. You know what I mean? I mean, don't get me wrong. It had a little bit of effect on me,
Mhm.
but I think that that's what made me who I was. And I always felt like I was from, another planet. So that's where AC the Kid from Space came from.
Okay. How what age you start making music?
Well, I've been writing music since probably like 12 years old, man. Since I was really young, I used to just write raps in a notebook, write raps. But then at a certain point, after ball and everything, like I realized that that's what I wanted to do. You know what I mean? It's my passion. My pops is huge into music. He was a drummer, and his CD collection is huge. So since growing up, I've been listening to music. So I'd say around 18 years, no, actually like 17 years old is when I was like, I met somebody who became one of my closest friends. He introduced me to a sound engineer who became my mentor later on, and he when I went to his studio the first time, I remember I was singing on his mic, and the whole setup, it was so professional, and like I never knew how to sing. I had to teach myself how to sing. You know what I mean? Like I could always rap, but I could never actually sing. I had to teach myself
Yeah.
just by practice, right? And at a certain point, I was sitting there in the studio that day, and I was like, man, I can do this. You know what I mean? That was when I was like 17, 18. I was like, I could do this. And when I dropped my first song, like everyone loved it and stuff. And it just kind of, I was like, man, like this is it. I think this is what I can do. And I've been doing it ever since. I'm 25 now. So
Now, were you
yeah,
mainly listening to like American artists at first, or Canadian artists, or both?
mostly American artists, a lot of Nigerian artists as well. I have a
Okay.
lot of friends from Nigeria. I love Afro beats. I love, I love a wide range of music. I also
Yeah.
love, vintage rock music as well. It's a weird combo, but I love everything. I love good music. You know what I'm saying? So
Okay. Are American artists generally bigger in Canadian than Canadian artists?
I mean, if we're talking guys like Justin Bieber and Drake,
Yeah. Okay.
okay, obviously they're global artists at this point. But yeah, definitely American artists are bigger than Canadian artists. I mean, Toronto right now is probably the spot where everyone's popping. But where
Uh-huh.
I'm from is we're neighbors to Toronto. We're in Montreal. We're like right next to each other, 5 hour drive.
Okay.
But Montreal has got crazy, crazy following as well. I mean, not a crazy following, sorry, crazy scene. And in Quebec, where I'm from, it's mostly French, right? And the French rap scene is huge, huge, and it blew my mind because I'm not into it. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Yeah.
I was about to ask you that. So, Montreal, you said it's real big French influence, and there's a lot. So the rappers are like rapping in French
Yeah.
over there.
Well, not all of them. There's so much English as well, but it's a nice
Yeah.
mix. But obviously, it's
Tonight.
Quebec.
Okay.
It's Quebec, so it's very French influenced.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing the food culture and everything is very French influence as well.
Yeah. Well, that's where like foods like poutine came from is from Quebec.
And what about Toronto's not so much as French as
No,
Montreal?
Toronto, Ontario is English, English, English.
What? Why do you think that is?
Well, Quebec is the only French province in Canada.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, the rest are English.
Okay.
Where are you from, by the way, bro?
I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, same city as J. Cole.
Oh, word, word.
Yeah. So like I Canadian. Like, is there a Canadian artist that have influence over you, like rappers and whatnot?
I mean, Drake, obviously, of course. I mean,
Drake, yeah, he's the standard, right?
I'm not the biggest Drake fan of the planet, but I can respect greatness
Yeah,
where it is. You know what I mean? So yeah, I'd say him, man. But growing up, I was really into Meek Mill. Meek Mill was
Meek
my guy.
Mill.
Yeah, Meek Mill was my guy. I mean, Lil Snoop, that's his poster right there and everything. You know, like
Okay.
that was like his prodigy who ended up, dying. Um, but yeah, that was more my lane. I liked hype music. You know what I mean? And also, I have a smooth soul, so I like a lot of R&B as well. You know what I'm saying?
So you like the artist that just got a lot of energy and whatnot?
Yeah, or just a lot of soul, man.
Yeah.
You know,
So what's the local music scene like as far as opportunity goes? Where you at?
I mean, Montreal is like I heard a lot of artists, man. You know, like Waka Flocka, he's always in the city.
Okay.
Um, like he's been in the city since he was, popping back in the day. Um, I've heard a lot of interviews with artists like Joe Elliott from Def Leppard. I was listening to an interview. You know, I watch interviews and stuff, and they were asking him what's his favorite city to perform in,
Uh.
and he said Montreal, and that blew my mind because I mean Montreal is crazy. I mean, from like hockey, if you know hockey and stuff like
Yeah.
that,
Yeah.
like
Yeah. Yeah. Y'all hockey
everyone
central. Yeah.
knows. Everyone
Yeah.
knows the Habs are crazy, but it's the fans. The French Canadian people go crazy at concerts, crazy partying, crazy. You know what I mean? In any like sports events. As far as culture, it's so wide range. You know what I mean? You have people from every single culture from around the world. You have art from around the world. You have food from around the world. It's a very well cultured place, and that's what I love about the city.
Is it probably pretty racially diverse too? Right.
That's what I mean. Cultures from
Yeah.
everywhere,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, and that's dope. That's what I was saying. That's what I love about the city. You got everybody. So
Yeah. Because where I'm from, it's a real tough market. Like
yeah.
fans ain't coming out and let's say like J. Cole, he's like the only artist that sells out our arenas and whatnot.
See now that like Montreal, you got like the electronic music scene, which is huge. You got the rap scene, which is huge. Honestly, like most artists that come through the city, there's a fan base for them. Either it could be like a small little forum, or it could be a stadium show. Like guys like Russ, like
I like Russ. Yeah, I
oh
like
me too.
Russ.
Yeah, he's real. Like I love him. Um, yeah, like when he came through, I went to his show and he packed out like an entire stadium. It was wild. It was wild.
Okay.
Yeah. So yeah,
And I like his format how he got on. He dropped like a song every week until he really got to that point.
yeah. He like cracked the algorithm. He was trying albums for a while, and when the albums, he realized like most people don't listen to albums. You know what I mean?
Nah.
They won't listen to a whole album. So especially now, attention spans gotten shorter. Before it used to be you drop an album and it's like okay, that's your masterpiece. Now it's just like people just want to listen to songs. So I felt like he broke that algorithm.
Do you think it's also that there's not a lot of good albums like that are really worth to put that full attention span into as well?
I I do think so. I mean, there's so much music out there, and if you're someone who's really into like discovering music, you'll find quality. But
Yeah.
mainstream wise, it's all getting saturated these days.
Yeah. It all
You know,
sounds the same pretty much. It's
that's
no
what I'm saying.
originality. How would you define your sound?
I mean, like I said, I do describe myself as I do have a smooth soul. I got a lot of energy, but I'm a smooth soul. I mean, for me, it was always hard to bring myself down to one genre. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I said, growing up, my dad he showed me every single type of music you could think of, especially like rock, but I'm talking like blues, like everything. So
Yeah.
I grew up listening to everything, and I felt like that really inspired me. And I kind of based a lot of my sound off of, and I kind of live by this that you don't necessarily have to be the best singer, but if you can carry melody, if you can write melody, you'll be set. Because if you could hold melody, that's just notes that work for people's ears. And I feel like that's where a lot of my sound come from. I'm a lot of a melody artist. I can still spit. I can still spit bars, when I need to. Like I've got some hype songs out there for like rap and stuff, um, but I do also do a lot of Afro beats. Like I said, I got a lot of friends from Nigeria I work with, and I love those type of vibes. I like good
Yeah, I
energy.
love that vibe too. And
You
it's
know what I'm
definitely
saying?
starting to grow and become a lot bigger
Yeah,
and
that's what I'm
whatnot.
saying. Yeah, that's facts. So it's just I like to call my music midnight music. Like that's the type of just songs you could listen to, um, like when I'm making music, there's always a memory or like a feeling that I'm talking about in my life or something that I want to experience. And for me, I'm trying to make someone who's listening feel the feelings that I felt while creating the music. You know what I mean?
Is
Empathy.
it?
It's
Would
like
I be
empathy.
wrong to say you're kind of like what you described to me sounds like Post Malone, but you can spit bars?
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. Yeah, I mean, my pops, like my pops loves Post Malone. Like he loves
It,
him, so it's dope you
he
said
had to
that too.
grow on me. He had to
Yeah,
grow on me. My cousin would play him, and I started appreciating because people would always be like, "Yo, man, this cat don't be spitting bars and this, that, and the third." And I started to sit back and analyze. I'm like, "Yo, did he say he want to spit bars? No. So why do we gotta force everybody to spit bars if they don't want to spit bars? And even this new Post Malone, I'm starting to say like he's really just growing as a musician, and I guess that's why I didn't call you a rapper when I announced
yeah,
you. It's good I said a musician because it seems
yeah.
that you just want to be a musician, and now we got a lot of rappers nowadays. It's not even really hip hop. It's rap culture to me.
Exactly. And the thing is like what I like. It's kind of like I mean, I love the female artist Melly. I don't know if you know Melly.
I'm not familiar with the music.
You gotta listen to her, man. She's
Okay.
crazy. Um, but like, yeah, like what I like about her, she could rap in Spanish, she could rap in English, she could sing
Okay.
R&B. And the thing is like, I remember one of her songs. She said like, like I sing every genre. You can't put me in a box. It's the same
Yeah.
thing with me. You could give me even I could probably do a country beat and still make it okay, but that's because of the melody. I
Yeah.
don't ever want to be boxed in. And people like who judge artists off of like, oh, they're changing, they're doing this. No, they're growing in the direction that they want to grow as an artist. Art
Yeah.
comes from inside. That's why I love making music. Music is really
Yeah.
one of the only things where you can't take it away from me. It literally comes from inside of me, and I'm putting it out. There's
Yeah.
no, you know what I mean? Like that's why art. That's why art's amazing. It's expression. It's not a
Yeah.
formula. There's no. I mean, there's formulas to music, sure, but it's just expression. You know what I mean? And that's why you can't put people in a box because people change, people grow, and their music will grow with them.
Let me ask you this though: would you consider all music as art? Because I don't.
I mean, it's a form of art. You don't have to like
To
it
me, it
or
depends on your intentions.
yes, yeah, I agree. I do agree with
Like
that.
some people are just truly in it just because the fame and the fortune,
And that's where you'll fall flat on your face, in my
and that's
opinion.
when I can say, you're not really an artist."
No, you're not. You're just someone who's doing it for the wrong reasons. You know,
Like I've always been a strong component. Like some people got say, like you gotta love it, love to do this more than the money. I only think it's like a 60-40 thing. Like money 60, 40% love. So there's still enough in there. Cause even when you do like when it's all about love, you talk about being put in a box. I think a lot of people put themselves in a box. Like
facts.
a cat, like for example, a cat like Styles P. He
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
want to do the song Locked Up.
Hmm.
Because I think he felt like he's putting himself, he wanted to stay, he wanted to keep himself in the box, and he felt
You
like if
talk.
he
You talk
does
about
this song,
locked up with Akon.
yeah, I think he felt like he was gonna be selling out.
Yeah.
So he wanted to keep himself in the box as far as I'm concerned. And when he dropped the song, I think as fans, I don't think nobody was really disappointed because you
No.
still had that Styles P heat, but then it had a little mainstream appeal that gave it a little extra boost that it might not necessarily get. Because if you take out the Akon hook, it's just a grimy underground song.
Exactly.
You throw in the Akon hook, it's got that mainstream appeal, kind of like when I think of MOP Annie Up. It's like
Yeah.
that song wasn't intentionally meant to be a mainstream song, but take it and run with it. You know what I'm saying? Don't be like,
Exactly.
oh, I'm an underground cat. You know what I'm saying? And try to put yourself in the box. Cause 50 Cent's done this too, like
That's my
a
guy.
grimy cat that just turns into a pop artist without, forcefully trying to be a pop artist because he didn't put himself in a box.
No, but
Um,
I completely agree with you, bro. And that's 100% true. And I feel like a lot of people just aren't even aware.
yeah,
Like that's what you're saying. Like a lot of artists just aren't even aware that they're in the box that they're in. But
yeah.
they're playing it safe. They're comfortable in their spot, and that's where they want to stay.
And
Instead of
that's
just
cool.
it's
That's
cool.
it's cool, but everybody has to, I think, experiment here and there, and then at some point you got to reinvent yourself, especially if
Yeah,
you got a major fan base.
exactly.
At some point, you can't keep the same sound over and over and over and over and over again.
But it even comes with like your visuals, everything you put as an image as an artist. Like I remember, like there's this artist. His name's Billy Squire. He's an older guy. He was incredible, and I remember the story about him. He was literally like, he dropped a great song, and he had this idea for a music video, and he really wanted to do it. But his label was saying, I think this is the story. Like, don't hold me to it, but I'm pretty sure
Uh-huh.
this is how it went. Like, and his label wanted this certain other vision for the music video, so he went with the label's decision, even though he didn't trust his own intuition, and that's what ruined his whole career. For some reason, that whole music video flopped. I don't know what the whole deal was, and that was the end of him. He dropped off the whole like planet. You know
And
what I mean?
that's the good and bad of labels getting involved.
And that's a whole other discussion there.
Yeah, because Joyner Lucas, it kind of happened with him a little bit. He signed his label deal, and I was a big fanatic of Joyner, and then he gets the label deal. And it's like, now you making this. I gotta appease the label music, and you built your fan base a certain way,
Well,
based
that's
off the visuals.
a lot of artists like that's what they say about signing your soul away. Like
Yeah,
you'll sign a contract, and all of a sudden they tell you what you got to put out. They tell you how much you got to put out. They tell you when you got to put it out. Like I respect, like Ice Spice. She's a new artist. She's upcoming, and I heard that she owns all of her masters. She
yeah, I
has
heard that. I heard that. Yeah,
100% creative control. They can't tell her what to do. She owns
yeah.
her shit. She makes her own shit. She's moving in the right direction. That's how you have to move as a new artist. That's why you can't just sign a contract because you see some zeros on there. You know what I'm saying?
This is something that don't make sense to me.
Yeah.
I honestly feel like, okay, like take a cat like Drake.
Hmm.
Does Drake really need a major label at this point?
Absolutely not.
Then why still have them? Is it just because do you want them to do all the work for you and you don't want to do the work yourself?
It could very well be that because it's tough, man. Being independent, you got to do everything
It
yourself.
is. It is.
But at that standard, where the entire world knows you, beyond, you don't need it. You just draw people listen.
But let's go back to Styles P, for example.
Yeah.
Styles P is independent.
Hmm.
Jadakiss is not.
Yeah.
He signs with a major label. And I heard this out of his mouth. He says he doesn't want to, he's not really comfortable with sacrificing his own money and betting his own money, which makes me feel a certain kind of way about Jadakiss because I'm like, you're dope as hell. What are you doing? Bet
Yeah.
on yourself the way Styles is. And when you listen to Styles P albums, they're always better.
But yeah,
Because
he's just straight with it. Like he could spit.
and,
He's
and,
one of
and
the
he's
best.
independent, so he don't have this label saying, hey, you should throw this song on the album, this song on the album, this song on the album. Because the label, how they do that. You take them 40 songs, all right, we're cutting them down to 20. These are the 20 we're taking. And the other
Exactly.
20 go to something else. But when you're independent, like the only people that have any say so your music is your producer, the cat's recording, your manager, and
And
whoever you're in.
who's to say, just because you don't like that's why I don't get mad if someone doesn't like my music. My
Yeah.
goal is not to make hits, my goal is to make quality music. And
Okay.
I do that because make if you're always trying to make hits, eventually it's gonna run out. If you're trying to make quality music, you'll have a catalog when you pop,
Yeah.
in my opinion. Like no matter if you don't like my song, you could still appreciate the fact that okay, it's still quality. It's not
Yeah.
just garbage. You know what I mean? And I feel like you can't base someone else's opinion on that. Like you don't know what your best song is gonna be. Like even like I talk a lot about rock history and shit. Like Def Leppard, I got their post there. Like their song "Pour Some Sugar on Me." They didn't think it was gonna be a hit. Fucking Joe Elliott, I think, was sitting in the hallway just strumming his guitar randomly. And this was they were finished the album. He was
Yeah.
strumming his guitar and he was just humming a melody. And I don't remember which one of the band members walked by and he's like, "Yo, what is that? We gotta do that." And they made that song, and like I said, the album was finished at that point, and they ended up making that song. First couple of months it didn't do well, and all of a sudden it got into strip clubs, and it blew the fuck up. It was the biggest song on the album, I'm pretty sure. So imagine if that song didn't come out like that's one moment, but you can't base it just off of like someone else's opinion or anything like that. Like that's a stroke of luck there. Like that's a beautiful fucking thing.
Now, based off of what you just said, would you agree that most of the mainstream is not even making hits or quality music?
It's just like I said,
They're
man.
just
Like
making songs just to pump it out into it's all about quantity over quality at this point to most of them.
I could definitely agree with that, but it's also just like when I say that there. Remember, I said there's no formula to art. There is, because for me, like as a melody artist,
Yeah,
I know myself, and the reason why I said I can make a good song on any beat is
yeah,
because it's melody. It's
yeah,
melody. It's all about melody. If you can make something sound good, have great melodies, it'll be catchy to most people. It won't be the biggest hit, but it'll be catchy. And if you have the people behind you, like labels and PRs and all these things, to push it, and radio stations to push it enough in people's faces, they're gonna listen. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it doesn't mean it's a hit or it's quality. It's just a formula. Okay, I made it a good pop song, and now put it on the radio and put millions of dollars in there, and it's gonna pop off. So that doesn't mean necessarily that there's any heart behind it. It's just a formula. You know what I mean?
And
Once you're in, you're in. Once
yeah.
you're in, you're in, bro. That's what I mean. So
So you don't drop albums at all, really? You just drop singles?
I dropped one album and I put a lot of effort, man. It was a couple of years in the making, and I'm still not fully satisfied with it. I did drop
Yeah,
one. It was called "The Sky Is Falling." It is a quality album. It's more of a smooth rap R&B album. It's good. It's worth a listen. But I didn't feel, and I dropped EPs too, two
yeah,
song EPs, 5 song EPs. Um, I like those things because I can capture my genre diversity more. Like, okay, if
yeah,
I make smooth rap and R&B, I could put it in a project rather than just dropping. Okay, this week I'm dropping R&B, next week I'm dropping Afrobeat, next week I'm dropping. Like
yeah,
it kind of like keeps it together in a way.
yeah.
But it is kind of, I wouldn't say a waste of time, because it's not a waste of time. It's still a work of art. But like I said, people's attention spans are short, man.
It,
When
they
I drop
are.
a single, it blows up compared to if I drop an album, it's like a couple songs, and then the rest are just like, oh, not even listened to, except with those people that resonate with those songs, or your diehard fans. You know what I mean? Unless you're big. Like if I pop off, yeah, debut album for sure, because you
Yeah.
know people are gonna listen. You're popping. But other than that, it's like put quality, put your time into one song at a time, and just like I'd rather people actually listen rather than just kind of like the chance that okay, maybe they might stumble upon the song.
Well, what I think is when you're a quality artist like Kendrick Lamar,
Yeah,
you can go ahead and space it out and make people clamor for the music. But when you're an artist like NBA Youngboy, I think you have to go for quantity
yeah.
because I mean, is any of this music really like his fans gonna be saying 10 years later, like, oh yo, you remember the NBA Youngboy song? I mean, any one of those songs that they gonna say that they name
The
10
thing
years
is
from
though,
now?
his fan base is wild.
It is. It is.
It's like a cult. It's
It's
fucking
confusing
insane.
though. It's confusing to me because I
I
can't
know.
think of one song that is
I'm not his
memorable.
fan. I'm not a fan of him. I don't listen to him. Doesn't mean I don't
I
respect
respect
it.
it. I respect
Yeah,
it.
I
Yeah.
respect it too, but I mean
Yeah.
I don't listen to it. So yes, I completely agree. But I mean, like coming back to Drake, like guys like that, if they drop an album, everyone's gonna listen to the album.
Yeah. Everybody.
They will play that shit.
Yeah.
But
Everybody.
if you're like, not even, you don't have to be a smaller artist. Just like in this day and age, it's like a just someone who could just spit bars.
Yeah.
Most people won't sit there and listen to like 15, 16 songs of just straight bars.
No, they won't.
They won't. They just
No,
want
they
to get
won't.
lit. They just want to get lit. They want to listen to
Yeah.
something they could. Most people don't even listen to fucking lyrics at this point, which is shitty as hell. Because for me, that was the biggest thing growing up. Like Get Rich or Die Trying. That album. When I
Yeah.
was younger,
Yeah.
that album I knew it word for word. That shit was
The
when it
impact was
dropped.
huge.
Oh my
Huge.
god! And I'm pretty. There was nothing out there like hard copies. I think it broke records. Guys like Lil Wayne too. Lil Wayne back in the day, like Jesus Christ, like
If you were playing anything besides Get Rich or Die Trying, once that album dropped, you was the lamest fuck
that's what
on
I'm
the
saying.
planet. You was
That's
a
what I'm
clown. You
saying.
was getting clowned. And if you was definitely playing some Ja Rule right that time, It was, I hate to say it, it would be like drinking a Bud Light right now in front of all your homies. Cause you would get clowned. I mean, and he literally killed a career. What's one thing if you could change in the music industry that you would literally just change? You were like, all right, we gotta get rid of this. This gotta go. We change this right now, today.
The saturation, how everything just sounds the same, and it's just lost. Like so many good artists are like they die before being discovered. There's just so much talent that gets buried. Like
Now,
back before the streaming ages,
yeah,
you had to actually pop from word to mouth and sell
yeah,
millions of albums
yeah,
from word to
yeah. Street
mouth.
team and radio, street team and radio. That was it.
That's crazy.
Yeah,
To me, when I hear these guys, and some guys are they're selling what, like 50K for 50K the first week. Motherfuckers with no streaming platforms were selling insane amounts more than that off
yeah.
word to mouth.
50 was getting $50,000 a week off of mixtapes, I think. Yeah,
Oh, the
which is
mixtape
two
era
hundred
too.
thousand a month.
The blog era when it first came out, the blog era was huge. The fucking mixtape era, like I love that shit because there was still saturation, but it wasn't like to the point where it is now. It's like
Yeah,
anybody can get like I'm a sound engineer as well. I'm not just an artist. I can mix and I can make anybody sound like they can sing.
yeah,
I get a lot of stuff from people. No hate to any of the people that come to the studio. Everyone's unique, but a lot of stuff, I have to grind to make them sound good. Just because anybody could be a rapper, apparently now.
no, you're right. And I think who I blame for that. I blame Soldier Boy.
Oh yeah, but Soldier Boy, man, when he started popping, bro, like kiss
His
me through the
flow was
phone.
so easy and
It
so
was so
basic.
easy.
It just seemed like anybody could do. And back to the saturation, like part of the problem is distribution back in the days used to have value, and now anybody can get it. And now you got 120,000 songs uploaded, and part of the biggest problem of it is they all sound the same.
It's a lot of like
There's no original sounds that really you can say, oh my gosh, that's some crazy new original sound that this guy created that
like
just stands out.
I remember. I think I was like grade 7. I don't know how old I would be then. Grade 7, man, and me and my boy, his name's Nathaniel. Like him and I, we were bumping the Migos, like jumping out the gym, like all these tracks, and like they came out with this crazy new flow, and him and I were bumping them, and no one fucked with them. But then all of a sudden they blew up, and now everybody sounds like
Sounds
Migos.
like them. And that's the thing. You got to have more of those, though. Back in the 90s, man, there was a lot of different sounds coming.
Oh yeah,
People,
facts.
just a lot of different sounds. And I think, I don't know, like I'm trying to get to the root cause of why this sound is so, it's not like people aren't experimenting doing so many different sounds. I want to say it has something to do with Fruity Loops.
Yeah, that too. But like still, a producer's a producer. But it's really just like I said, it's a formula. Like
Yeah.
that's another formula example. It's like trap music. It has a certain flow, it has a certain beat, and you follow that formula, you can make a trap song. Like, you know what I mean? But when it comes to like melody and all these other things, like you have to be unique. Like you have to have different flows, you have to have different sounds, like different pitches. And it's just like I'm not saying nothing against trap. I love trap music, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. But it's just like,
It's got
anybody
a
could,
small fan base, man.
you know what I'm saying? And like I don't know, like it's a culture thing, I think. You know what I mean? Like kids growing up, they see that and that's what they follow and that's what they want to do. But it's like for me, what I love about the States and their music is that there's like if you see some motherfucker from like Memphis,
Yeah.
like Key Glock, Young Dolph,
Yeah.
like those guys have a unique flow. You see
Yeah.
guys from Atlanta. Atlanta's
Yeah.
broad in their flow. New York, they got a bunch like ASAP Rocky, like he's on my ceiling. Like
Yeah.
this is my
He's
guy.
definitely unique for a New York cat.
But he came up like I remember that formatted voice, like like
Yeah.
that deep voice that he always used. Like when I was growing up, man, that was my shit. I used to like I was using Audacity, the early version. That looks like it's a fucking retro ass program. I was using that and
Yeah.
I was formatting my voice like that's what I grew up on. Like I wanted to sound like him. You know what I mean? Like I got into fashion because I liked him. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like it really depends but right now it's very closed. Even in the early 2000s, it was more open. Now it's just kind of like the box is kind of getting like this and this and this and this, smaller and smaller and smaller, which is shitty.
What do you think like about the disconnect and the new school rappers and old school that never used to be there? Like you always like
Lyricism,
you think it's just the lyricism.
like really, like before you were respected because you
Yeah.
could just spit and
Yeah.
wordplay,
Yeah.
cleverness. Now it's just like, all right, I'm lit, so I like it.
Yeah, I rap. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Okay.
you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, bro.
Do you think that so you don't think that's ever gonna come back at all in the
I think it
music?
will. I think it will.
Because
Everything
even in
comes back.
basketball, it's there, football is still there. It's like nowhere else. I think even rock and roll, pop, and other things in R&B, it might still be there a little bit more. But hip hop, it's like a
Yeah.
big disconnect between old school and new school, and I blame both sides. I
I
do
wouldn't
blame
say
the old
R&B.
schoolers too.
I wouldn't say R&B though. Old school R&B, like singing, dancing in the rain, singing your heart out
Yeah,
for some girl, like that's
yeah,
gone. That's
okay.
gone. You know what I mean? Like,
But is there a disconnect of like giving like love back to the artists before you? Like
I
none of these new school artists show any love to any artist before them.
I mean, one that comes to mind was Pop Smoke. Like, he was just like, I listen to his stuff, bro, and
Yeah.
that was like that was some of the most unique shit that I heard in a minute. Like, he was
He
like
definitely had a different sound that everybody jacked.
he
They
was
jacked the
50
hell out of
Cent.
sound.
He was a
Yeah.
reincarnation of 50.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
not reincarnation, but you know what I mean, like
The
a
drill
younger version.
version. The drill version. Yeah.
Yeah, and it was crazy, and like 50 Cent like took him on because like literally it was like 50 Cent saw it, the
No, he had
inspiration.
that. He had that. No, I see it. He was real tough.
No,
He
but you
was
listen
real
to his
tough.
song. You listen to his song Hotel Lobby. Like he literally is singing 50 Cent's flows. He's paying
Yeah.
homage to him. Like you gotta give respect. Like there's a lot of people also do it for like. I mean, I don't even want to say Kendrick, but I mean, since I've been around, Kendrick's been around. You know, like when I was young, Good Kid, Mad City, that was like the shit, and that's years ago now. You know, what I mean, it doesn't
Yeah.
feel that long ago, but it is. But he's not an
Yeah.
old school rapper. I mean, if you want to talk like Biggie and Pac and stuff like that, like
Yeah.
everybody knows, but you'll hear people talking about like, oh, like who was it, man? There was a rapper that said he's better than Tupac, better than Biggie. I don't remember who it was. I don't think it was Kodak.
What I was saying. What the rapper himself was saying he was better than Tupac.
Mhm.
I think it might have been Kodak or somebody like that. But
Yeah,
like as a rapper, rappers are always supposed to think that, right?
yeah. It's like, but it's some
It
stupid
is.
front.
It
It's some
is. It is.
stupid front.
I would never. Yeah, I would never like. If I got on social media right now, man, and be like, "Yo, I'm better than Tupac. I'm better than Biggie." Everybody in my city be like, "Man,
You're whack.
shut up and
Yeah,
sit your ass down. You
exactly.
my boy. I love you, but shut your.
Yeah.
You must be drinking. This the liquor we promote, Dizzle. They're gonna be like, you drinking that
Oh,
Dizzle?
word.
Because what are you talking about?
Where do y'all sell that? Where do y'all sell that?
Right now we're in California, Oklahoma, Kansas, and Arkansas. We're trying to work on other
What
places,
is
but
it? What is it?
it's in a agave tequila,
Oh,
cognac, and an orange liquor mango mix.
oh, word. Is
Yeah,
it,
and
it,
it's actually a black owned business too out of California. My guys own
that's
two of my
dope.
guys own 33% of each. One of my guys that own it, his dad was sung bass for the original Heartbeats.
Oh, word.
And the other guy that owns it, he produced a lot of the early Adina Howard records.
Damn.
Yeah, so I got a very, very established circle. They're all older than me and whatnot, and they've been in the business for a
Yeah,
while and
there's some
whatnot.
OGs. Some OGs.
Yeah, they OGs. I'm 44, and they're like in their 50s and
Yeah.
60s and whatnot.
No, but it's good. Like you gotta respect like the people like in front of you, and that's kind of a full circle loop to what we were talking about, right?
Yeah,
Respecting the people before you, man.
yeah,
If you're not gonna take advice from them, you're not gonna, respect them. Then where you gonna go, man? You're gonna be lost. You're just gonna be a kid walking around the park at that point. You know what I'm saying? So
and like cats, these young cats could like avoid a lot of mistakes if they bring that connection back with some of these older heads. Because a cat like Jay-Z, 50 Cent, and them cats definitely got all the wisdom in the world, man, to help cats out.
but that's it. Like even me, man. Like I got a younger brother, and growing up, man, like I was hard on him and stuff like that. But I just
Yeah,
I didn't want him to make the same mistakes as me, and I also just wanted him to be hard. I wanted him to be able to carry his own. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I didn't want him to make the same mistakes as me. I wanted to lead him in the right path. I didn't want nothing to happen to him. You know what I'm saying? And
yeah.
hopefully he took a lot of what I gave him and is using it today. You know what I mean?
That's all you could do, man. Just give them somebody the best advice that you could possibly give them,
Yeah,
and it's up to them, to really run with it and whatnot. And I think that's a big problem of the music industry. Like going back to everybody thinks they could do it, nobody knows nothing about it.
exactly. Because even though there's a formula, there ain't no formula to greatness.
No. And there's no like it's like with 50 Cent when he blew up on the mixtapes. That's why the mixtapes blew up so big, is because of 50 Cent and everybody thought they could do it. But nobody really was able to duplicate what 50 Cent does, because the problem is the devil's in the details. And if you don't know all the details that go into this, you can't duplicate it.
You
And
can't.
even then, you probably still can't duplicate it.
And even like the process of recording back then, now it's so easy. Everything,
Oh yeah.
everything was physical back then, man. That blows my
Yeah.
mind. But I mean, the only one that comes to mind is Wheezy, man. Wheezy, like Lil Wayne, bro. Like when he popped, bro. Like that was a wave that could not be stopped. Every
Yeah.
single song was either featuring Wheezy or it was Wheezy on the radio. Like he was just, it's little fucking Wayne, man.
A lot of that was because he actually had one of the most affordable feature prices for a superstar rapper.
And that's probably genius to do. Why would
Yeah.
you charge these mans and just? And the thing is, because he knew he's like Jay-Z. You walk in, you walk out the studio. It's you don't even have to. You don't need a pen and pad. You
Yeah.
walk in, you freestyle, and you leave. And
Yep.
that verse is going to be worth 10 times more than you charged.
Yeah.
And
And the best way to trigger any kind of algorithms nowadays is to have the biggest name possible you can have on your joint.
exactly.
You got Lil Wayne on your joint on Spotify, you're getting picked up by some editorials. I
Yeah,
don't know how big they're gonna be,
but you're
but
chilling.
somebody's gonna pick it up. But you ain't got no Lil Wayne. You better have the dopest
Yeah,
music possible, or just this big ass fan base and whatnot.
exactly, man.
Now, what's your opinion on independent major? You think
Mm.
anybody should just stay independent as long as they can, man?
I would love to be honest, but like I do sit here sometimes and I do struggle. You know what I mean? Like I ain't rich. I ain't. You know what I mean? I ain't privileged in the sense where I can just make a song and it gets heard, or I don't have the best connections. I have to work
Yeah,
my ass off. That's how we got in touch. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like I sit there for hours. I send hundreds of emails, interview submissions, blog submissions, playlist submissions, everything just to like get opportunities to get my search engine optimization up on Google, to possibly just like have a bigger Google page, to possibly get verified on Instagram, to possibly go and get on playlists where I can gain more streams and touch the world more. Like that's fucking tough to do all on your own. If I had someone with connections, a manager and a PR team, um, all this stuff, yes. But like I said before, coming back to Ice Spice, like the way she's doing it is right. If you're gonna sign, you got to sign that way, so you don't sign your soul away.
yeah.
You kind of just have to. I mean, who knows the details? I don't know too many details about everything. But if I'm gonna sign, I wouldn't even read the contract. I would hire a lawyer and let him read the contract and tell him what I need out of it. You know what I mean?
And hold on, you forgot one other thing. Then you would hire a lawyer to make sure that the lawyer,
Exactly.
isn't fucking you. You got to
Yeah.
hire another lawyer, pose for the lawyer,
Oh,
make sure because you always got to get second read.
oh, exactly. It's so much, man. Like you
Yeah,
really can't, because that contract could be like a good life or like
and
a
some people don't even get the first read. They just sign.
right away. They like I said, they see digits and that's it.
Yeah.
I got a down payment on the cribs. I set my mom up, my dad up, and I'm good. Like
And
yeah,
the
man,
younger you are, the worse. Because this is I
stubborn.
did a song with Lady Luck, and she used to come through Fayetteville all the time because a friend of hers used to stay here. And she signed when she was like 16 years old. So
Yeah,
family was running the business, and said a lot of jerking was going on and whatnot. Because I mean, you ain't got no control at that point when you're super
they
young.
got your hands in your pockets.
Yeah.
It's like Justin Bieber, like at the beginning of his career.
Oh
Like
yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know
Or
what I
what they
mean?
did to Britney Spears. I mean, she had
I
to
was about to
literally
bring
sue
that
her
up too.
family.
She's still dealing with that shit
Still dealing with it. Yeah.
even after it's all said and done. It's not done. You know what I mean? Like, that's the thing, man. If I could redo it all, like there's one artist I love. His name's After the Party. Super dope, smooth, unique sound. His lyrics,
Mm.
his flow is crazy. He doesn't show his face. No one knows what he looks like. So you remove the fame and you
Like
just focus.
Marshmello, like Marshmello.
Yeah, or even like
Ghostface did it at first.
I think The Weeknd did it at first.
I know Lord Have Mercy from Flip Mode, nobody seen his face for the longest until he was out of Flip Mode.
But it's so tough too, right? Because like sex sells at a certain point. You know what I mean? Like, yes, if you're not the best looking person, you have a great voice, stuff like that, you can still pop. But it's like, yeah, sex sells. Like you look at a lot of the rappers, the female rap game, even the male rap game, like
Yeah.
people are good looking. You know what I mean? At a certain point, like unless you just have something that pops, like
The thing is, when you hide your face, you got to have that cult following.
yeah,
MF
like
Doom did it. MF Doom did it.
and that yeah, that's what I was gonna bring up
Yeah,
too.
MF
But like
Doom did it. You got to
also
have
like
that cult following.
yeah, exactly. I mean, God bless him, but like like also just like a uniqueness
Yeah.
to your sound. It has to be like the first of its kind.
Yeah.
Like starting a whole wave. Like I said, After the Party, he might be a little bit underground. I think he has
Yeah.
like 300,000 monthly listeners or anything like that. But like
Yeah.
he started this whole like take a listen to him after. I mean, it might not be your type, but you'll
Yeah.
respect the art. You'll respect the art behind it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Melly too.
I pretty much respect all music except gospel, but I'm not going to get
Yeah.
into that.
Yeah. Yeah, I kind of like some gospel, but like
I'm not a Christian guy, but I'm not going to get into my reasons. But and I'm not big on heavy metal either because it's not what
yeah.
Jimmy created. It's not what Jimmy created. I don't know what it is nowadays. It's like,
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of screamo and stuff, but like I said,
yeah,
to
yeah.
each their own. Like I love rock. Like who doesn't like ACDC? Like you turn on
I'm a big
ACDC, like
Nirvana guy.
yeah, Nirvana's dope too.
Yeah,
Fucking Van Halen. Like I said, I love
yeah.
Def Leppard.
Those are the
There's so
cats I
many.
listened to when I was young growing up. Def
Yeah.
Leppard, Motley Crue, White
Oh,
Lion.
Motley Crue is my favorite. I like literally right. I don't even see in the background. No, you can't even
Yeah.
see. I mean, I could turn it right there. It's Motley
Well,
Crue.
rock is big in Canada, right?
That's Motley Crue right there,
Yeah.
man. Vince Neil, all them, man. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I got
no,
on my wall I got the Sublime poster. I got a
that's
Janet
dope.
Joplin, a Beatles, Pink Floyd. I got Jimmy and I got the Grateful Dead over here.
Pink Floyd is crazy, man. I mean, my dad's been to like all the artists I love. Like I said, my bringing it back to my pops. Like, yo, he's told me stories about all these concerts. Like Pink Floyd, back in that time and everything, everyone
Yeah.
was fucking tripping off shit. They were
Yeah.
all,
Yeah.
doing drugs and like he was telling me like the Pink Floyd concert, like they had like glowing, like I don't know, lit up animals and shit flying around the stadium on strings, and like it was just the trippiest shit. And like to me, that's just artistry. Like
Yeah.
now, a guy gets on stage, his instrumentals in the background, and he's just lip singing and getting the crowd hyped. Like I think if I ever were to perform live, I want a live band. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I like live bands. I don't know if you ever seen Joyner Lucas perform, but he's very impressive. No hype man. He's a very fast rapper.
Yeah.
I was like, how does he keep the breath up? No ad libs, nothing. And it was the first concert I ever went to where everybody knew every single word to every song,
And it's
and he
crazy
had not one song on radio.
because he just spits straight bars.
Bars, yeah.
So how do you keep up? And
I couldn't figure it out.
you know what
I
I
was
mean?
just like, I was like zoned out. I was like, oh my God, like what is going on here? My cousin, it was his first rap concert. He's like, yeah. And I'm just like, oh my God, what is going on here? Because I've been to like Karis One concerts. They don't know every single word to every song.
Yeah.
Wu-Tang, it don't matter who it is. They don't know every single word to every single song.
It's tough to
But it
keep
was
up
like
too.
Joyner Lucas, it was like, what the hell is going on? No radio hits, nothing but internet fan base. And I watched it, from day one. It was like, whoa, this is crazy. But it's like, even him, you you gotta you can't lose what makes you have it.
And it's also the fan base, man. Like literally, like I
Yeah,
saw a concert recently, like on I don't remember, I think it was Instagram or something, like a Rema concert. I think
yeah,
that's how you say his name, Rema. Like he's a Nigerian artist. Like, and he just started really popping, and he was on stage, and the instrumental came on, like not no lyrics. He was actually, I think no, I don't remember if there was lyrics or not, like vocals. And he was standing there, and he had his mic down by his waist, and he was just staring at the crowd, and like you could see it in his face, like he knew he fucking made it, because the moment the song started, he didn't have to say a word. All the fans were singing it to him.
yeah.
He was just
What?
standing
Yeah.
there. What a feeling! Can you imagine
It, no,
that?
it's the closest to me. It's like the closest man gets to feeling like God
That's what I'm
when
saying.
you're on stage and all these people are just like fanatics and groupies and and that's the thing. I dealt with so many musicians. I never really was like this big groupie, but it's just amazing when you see it, how people, when you sit back and watch, like these people like worship this dude, and it's like,
Just for
whoa.
something he probably made in his mom's basement. Can you imagine? That's why, I like me and my dad's a carpenter and everything, and like
Yeah,
I saved up a lot of money to build this soundproof studio.
yeah, it
I
looks
saved
nice. It
up.
looks nice.
Yeah, like I literally went broke for like 2 years just to get all this equipment, because I knew that, like Rick Ross said, like you cannot be a boss if you can't wake up in your pajamas and do what you gotta do. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? And I took that mindset seriously. Like I want to be able to, also for my people. I have a lot of friends that make music. Like for me, I'm like, look, I gotta make sure they're fed as well. Their families are
yeah.
fed as well. They get to chase their dreams. Like I'm gonna be able to do it, and I did it for them, and they're always welcome. And like that's the biggest thing for me is like this studio carries so much energy that no matter who's in here, he's gonna have either a good night just hanging out, blasting music. I could blast music at 4 a.m. and no one's gonna hear it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean? It's soundproofed fully. Like the walls are like this thick. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Or I could be making something that I don't realize that maybe in 5 years from now I'll be having it sung back to me by 70,000, 80,000 people in a fucking crowd. You know what I mean? And like that feeling when I'm making music sometimes just gives me the pure chills, bro. Like there's nothing else on this planet that I want more than that. Just to be able to like create something for my soul and have it like touch someone else's soul. Like I said, just the feelings I felt while creating it, you're able to just sit there and feel at peace for at least. Life is pretty shitty, so at least in that moment, you're just able to feel a little bit of just quiet, even though it's loud.
And then it also feels good to get paid for your making music. I mean, it's one
Oh
of the
yes,
best. Besides, I would say playing basketball
yeah.
and getting paid to make music and acting. That's like the three top things you could possibly do in life. I don't know if I could throw football in there because you got to take some hits,
Oh, my brain was fucked up for
and
years,
they get
bro.
hurt like crazy in football.
Like I was a wide receiver, man. Like I mean, I was lucky I trained my
Oh
ass
yeah,
off.
you were taking the hits. Yeah,
And I
yeah,
played for 13 years, man. After I had to
yeah,
go to therapy for I had to go to therapy for 2 years because like I got so many fucking hits to the head and shit. Like,
yeah,
and the thing is I only got injured a couple times in my career, and I don't ever think I even missed a game. So I was just like,
yeah.
and it fucked me up. But you know what I mean? It was worth it. It taught me a lot. I loved it, man. So,
I went to one of those high schools that was football crazy. We were
oh,
undefeated.
in the states, high school football is
Yeah,
crazy, bro.
yeah. We were undefeated every single year. We couldn't win the championship every year, but we were undefeated like every year in the regular season. Everybody be wearing J jackets, got school
Yeah.
pride and everything. You got an idea like what your next song's gonna be?
Yes, actually, I do. So I just dropped a single called "Bring You to Life." That
Bring You
one's
to
doing,
Life.
yeah,
Okay.
that one's doing really well. It's with a Nigerian artist, Pickett. He's a he's a Nigerian superstar.
Do they
On
get a
it.
lot of play out there, Nigerian artists?
Yeah, they do. And I was on the radio out there for a little while. I have a friend here from Nigeria. He
Yeah,
connected me, Austin. Yeah, he's a dope dude. But that song is doing really well right now. But in next Friday, June, I think it's June 9th, um, I'm back with another track. It's a party song. This song goes hard, man. It's called Earthquake, and it's
yeah,
like a heavy party, like yeah, it's Afro beat, but it's heavy. Like it's really like you can't help but move when you hear that shit. And it's with Pupa again, and it's
uh,
with Rafi. Two of my guys from Nigeria, and I'm telling you that song's gonna pop, man.
I know you probably got to go, so I got two more questions for you.
No, I'm straight, bro. I'm good.
Do you think American market is kind of biased towards international artists? Because you're
Mm,
talking about these Nigerian artists, they don't get a lot of play in American market.
but like if you want to talk about guys like
WizKid would be that'd be about the
and like
main one.
Burna Boy, I think
Met
he's one of
him, but there's not a lot.
like
I've tried to promote a lot of African artists in American
because to
market,
me,
and people, I see the comments, and I'm like, "Yo, really?" Like,
for me, honestly, Africa, well, Nigeria itself has I think 200 million people. So if you're
okay,
popping in Nigeria,
you're popping, you're
you're
popping.
chilling. You're
Yeah,
chilling.
you're good to go.
You-
Just
you-
based, it's like being popping in Texas.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
like, if you blow up there, you're bound to blow up somewhere else. But
yeah,
I just don't think that there's enough respect for that because the thing is like Poopa T, like this guy is probably one of the most talented artists I've ever met in my life. He does it all.
yeah,
He can sing patois, he could sing in Yoruba, he could sing in English, he could rap, he could do everything. You know what I'm saying? And like he's just so talented and
yeah,
he still ain't popping. And like that's
yeah,
why him and I we work so closely. First of all, we're great friends. Like he's my guy, but it's also we want to make a sound that's different.
yeah,
And for me, I've met so many different artists. I have this girl, Lola Williams from South Africa. She's incredible as well. Like, Africa is just, I think it's just like, I mean, you know how the world is out here, man. And it's fucked up. But like,
yeah,
there's a lot of disrespect towards their culture and music that's not appreciated enough where we are.
yeah,
That actually deserves it because there's just so much talent.
yeah,
More talent over there than there is here. Here it's saturated. Over there, even if it's a little saturated, every single person is unique and they all have their own individual sounds that no matter who you listen to, unless you're actually, garbage, no matter who you listen to is incredible and they all have talent.
and
Every
they got
single
a
person that I
different
know.
struggle. They got a different struggle to talk about that. We're kind of America. We're kind of isolated our bubbles. I would say Canada too, and whatnot. Canada's definitely got some crazy radical politics going on right now.
Oh yeah.
I'm not going to ask you questions about it or whatnot, but
No, I ain't
it's
even into all
definitely
that.
it's definitely just as batshit crazy as what's going on in America. And I'm a big fan of Egyptian culture. It's like one of my top
Yeah.
cultures, and they got that thing going on there too, where over Cleopatra, you got you know Arabs and Africans. Well, it's actually Black Americans and um, Arabs arguing over what race Cleopatra was, and it's like, well, first of all, Black Americans are really are disconnected from Africa too much. Like Africans know more about the answers to this than anybody else.
Well, yeah,
You know,
you can't, question someone from where they're from if they're from there.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like, unless you're like, historian who's done research and stuff. But it's like, even in the Middle East, there's all this stuff. But for me, man, like all that stuff is like, I can't say I understand it because I can't as someone who just like, man, like I just we all don't know when we're gonna die. So why don't you
yeah,
just love your neighbor and just respect him and respect her and just let people live their own life? You don't have to stick your nose in other people's business. Let them have their own opinion. You know what I mean? I get it. Like a lot of things are wrong.
yeah,
Those things, yes, you could stand up for. I understand standing up for what's right. But stuff like, having an opinion about certain things, just let them be and you be who you want to be. You don't have to involve your life with them. They don't have to involve your life with you. And that's, what, that could be very ignorant for me to say because I'm
yeah,
not in that situation necessarily,
yeah,
right? So I don't want anybody to hold me to that. But for me, I just want to vibe, man. I just want to have a good life and just love thy neighbor, you could say.
but
So
we're at a point now where they're censoring facts and not opinions. So you can't even have an opinion if you can't even state the facts.
that's
Because you
facts
got
too.
to state the facts first before somebody can have an opinion about the facts. And like, that's one thing I was like scared about. I always ask about like, Kanye West. I don't like the way people attack Kanye West. Like, yeah, Kanye West said some things you might not agree with.
Yeah.
But I saw Joyner Lucas censor Kanye. And as an artist, I was like, damn, this is kind of hypocritical. Because you got the song Kanye's Not Crazy.
Yeah.
He removed that song because apparently he got pressure from somebody. I mean, why else would you have to
Well,
remove
yeah,
the song?
the public, of course.
And then you got, um, Drink Champs removes the interview. And I'm like, we can't be doing this.
I
It
do agree
can't be
with that.
guys that in hip hop censoring hip hop.
Exactly, but like I'll keep it real with you. Like I do not agree with a lot of the stuff he's been doing. But also, like he could be going through whatever he's dealing with. You know what I mean? But for me, I do agree with you in the sense where they shouldn't remove it because of
Yeah.
the sense where it's still there.
Yeah.
Even if you take it away, it's still there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So there's no point of taking shit away just because you don't like what they're saying. Leave it and just live your life. Like
Yeah.
stop fucking worrying about the next person. Just literally just live your own life and live it how you want to with the people that you love and the people that you love and appreciate. And if you don't like the next person's opinion, unless it's harming you or your people or it's disrespecting you or your people, why the fuck do you care? Move on.
It kind of goes back what you said with the music. You just like you pretty much forgot what you said. Um, damn, I forgot exactly what you said with it though.
No, it's all good, G.
Yeah. I got one more question for you.
All right, yo, go.
This is actually a hip hop question I usually ask people.
Mm-hmm.
And some people like rap, like dudes that mainly just do rap can't really answer this. If you had an alien come down on the planet today and you had to play one song that tells the story of hip hop, one song tells the story of hip hop, what would it be?
Bro, that's tough as hell, man.
Now, when I first heard this question, the answer that somebody gave me was Biggie Smalls Ready to Die. I couldn't really give an answer, and then I had to think, later. I came up with Tupac Old School, but there's really no wrong answer.
That's your answers?
Tupac Old School was my answer.
See, like
But
me,
what can I say? Wouldn't be here today if the old school didn't pave through it.
yeah, facts. See, I'm leaning towards like Andre 3000, guys like that, lyrical geniuses.
Yeah.
Um,
And it don't even got to be a song about hip hop, really, because a friend of mine said, Mob Deep, I think he said, Shook Ones, because that was that theme music on 8 Mile, man. Like
oh yeah,
it was the 8 Mile theme music through the battles. It was
oh
like,
yeah, that scene got me lit as a kid,
yeah,
man. I must have watched that shit. I memorized all the B rabbits, fucking all the
yeah.
B rabbits thing. Oh man, that's tough for me, man. Like, oh man, like yo, this is a tough spot, man. My music library is like rolling through my head. Like I'm just leaning towards 50 because that was my guy growing up.
50. What song, though?
Uh, so I gotta even check, man. There's so many I like, bro.
I like the Biggie Ready to Die, though, too, because of the way it starts. It was all a dream. I used to read Word Up magazine, Salt and
Magazines,
Pepper,
yeah.
Heavy D up in the limousine.
Zane. See, like I love like if you're talking about okay, like hip hop, like I love, like Hate It or Love It. Um,
Hate it, love it. Yeah, yeah. You know
I
why
think,
50's so good? He doesn't never pick a bad beat.
and also no, but he's just a real motherfucker, bro. This
Yeah, he
guy,
is. No, yeah,
he
yeah, yeah,
he
yeah,
does
yeah, yeah.
not hold, he does not bite his tongue. I
Yeah.
honestly think Many Men's the track
Okay.
because that
Many
just
Men.
shows like hip hop, like gangster rap, bro. Like
No,
motherfucker got
that's a good one because rappers are dying like crazy,
he
man.
got shot 9 times. Motherfucker came back and he's like,
Yeah.
but what did he say? There was one lyric, bro. He's like, they did what I did. Like, so it's like, I don't know. Like, he just kind of like stated that like the guy who tried to shoot him, and I think he knew the man. It was someone's boy in the game, and he's like, and he did what I did, but he ain't fucking breathing. It was
Oh
like
yeah, yeah,
that was like when I remember I heard that lyric and I was like, oh my god, bro, like he literally, like, you know what I mean, like the
yeah.
man's dead now, but he's like, I'm still walking. Like that was like for me, that was one of the toughest bars of all time.
You know anything that sucks about 50 Cent, man? I love him, but I can't. I can only recite all his lyrics when you're alone. Cause when you're around the homies, the brothers, any black friends, you gotta skip over the N word about a trillion times. Cause 50 Cent does not shy away with it, but I wouldn't take it away though. It's like that's
Yeah,
the
but still,
thing.
you'll never catch me saying that even when I'm alone, like out of
I,
respect.
I
But
I'm
like,
saying on camera. I'm sorry. I do. I'm
no,
sorry. When
no,
I'm streaming, I'm by myself. I'm reciting all the lyrics, man. But when
oh
I'm
no, but that's just like
in
you're
front of
just
people,
vibing.
I'm mindful. I'm mindful when I'm in front of my friends.
But that's what I mean. Like that, but
Even though
that's
I
that.
got friends that I could say it front and they wouldn't care because they're like, they don't.
No, but it's just a respecting. Like for
Yeah,
me,
yeah,
there's no need for it, and it's just like in a sense where it's like even when I'm alone, I'm just like naturally just skipping over it because that's just how I sing it. Because like I'm not the type of motherfucker that will say it, and I don't know, like
I don't lie. I don't skip over one by myself. You get the whole like if I'm walking to the store
yeah,
by myself and I'm playing, I play 50 Cent a lot. I will play. I'm a
yeah.
big 50 Cent. I will play, the album song after song and
But like
like
that's your boys. Like that's like when you're like
I'm
you talk
paying for
about it.
this streaming plan. So if I want to
Like,
recite all the lyrics when I'm by myself, I'm
yeah,
reciting. And my whole thing is hip hop wouldn't be where it is without a large fan base. My homeboys went to the Nas concert and there was more white faces than anything, and it was sold out.
oh, of course.
So
But it's
like,
also that's what I was talking about the culture, right?
yeah,
Like about like you remember you said like why is it all saturated? Is because
yeah,
people like young little white kids like they'll be hearing that stuff, they're looking up to it, and that's what they want to be. You know what I
yeah,
mean? It just depends. Like in a lot of these like rock stars, you know what I mean? Like that was the music culture back then, and it's
yeah,
evolved towards hip hop and rap. But even rock and roll, it started from black people. It started from the blues.
yeah, 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 yeah.
You know what I mean? Like even in New Orleans, like fucking the blues, jazz, like it all started there, and people just took it and ran with it. You know what I mean? Like the black culture is so musically advanced and so rhythmically advanced that you can't help but respect it.
Yeah.
It's just something that I grew up with, and I just respect it, and I will always give credit where it's due.
I
I'm not
was
gonna
in
be
a
someone like that,
I was in those Def Leppard and those posters you got behind you when I came back from Panama. Because when you live in Panama, there's not a lot of black culture music. So you get back, it's Def Leppard, Motley Crue. Because my mom, she was Elvis. As a kid, I was in a Michael Jackson, Prince, and Lionel Richie. Those are my
Oh,
guys.
Lionel Richie's crazy.
Yeah, but then it wasn't until I heard Heavy D I really got into hip hop. But this is something I understood though. It took a lot of these clean rappers to get a lot of this white fan base into hip hop.
Yeah, but like a lot of these,
Gangster rap wasn't really gonna do it.
I feel you, but like I don't know,
You had
like
to have the Will Smiths, the Heavy D's of the worlds, to because there was some white people that was just only gonna listen to just this
like preppy
super
corny
clean
kids,
hip hop.
like a little preppy corniness.
Yeah,
Like you know what I mean? You gotta respect it. A lot of these mans, like I have friends that are like that still. Like they rap like that. They're gifted as lyricists, but
yeah,
it just ain't for me.
yeah,
Um, but like I think that the word for it in the rock and roll days was the schmaltz, schmaltz.
I never heard that one.
Um, like remember ACDC song "Let There Be Rock." He's like, the black man had the blues and the white man had the schmaltz or schmaltz, and the schmaltz or whatever it was
Yeah,
literally just white people hearing black people playing the blues and trying to copy them and make their own version of it. It's
yeah,
influence. You know what I mean? And for me, it's just like That's why I give respect to the whole culture because of the fact
Now,
that
do you consider that still in the cultural appropriation? Because I want to throw in before you answer that question. I always think about the first Iron Man movie with the Jeff Fisher told Tony Starks, "You think because you have an idea that you own it, and 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 talk is cheap. Actions speak louder than words."
but I do, but it's just like me. Like if I'm rapping, if I'm doing music, like I said, I will give credit where credit's due, right? Like
Yeah.
I will give credit. Okay, well that's where it started.
If
You
you
know
don't
what I
give
mean?
credit, then it's appropriation.
Exactly. It's not
If
my
you give
culture.
credit, then it's not.
Ish, yes. Like yeah, actually yes. Because for me, yes, I'm doing it in the sense because I'm doing it because I respect it and I look up
Yeah.
to it. It's out of respect that I'm doing it for the
Yeah.
culture. You know what I mean? And I will always be the first one to tell you, yes, black people are the reason for rock. Black people are the reason for blues. Black people are the reason for rap. Black people are the reason. That's what it is, and it's truth. It's just truth. You can't hide from the truth because it's still the truth. So a lot of people that just want to deny it, I'm sorry, but you're just running from the truth. So you have to respect it in order to grow. I cannot do this without respecting the past. Going back to what we were talking about, respecting where it came from. Why would I do it unless I
Yeah.
respect where it came from? It's pathetic if you do it any other way. You're
Is
doing it
that
for
part of the
yourself.
reason why hip hop is kind of down this dark rabbit hole with the way the music is, that they don't show no respect to
Hey
nobody in the
man,
past? It's really like I think of like the young kids be like, "You old heads had your time.
that's
It's
just
our
being
time."
that's just arrogance, bro.
Yeah.
You can't be arrogant, man. Like to me, that arrogance, ignorance, jealousy. There's a lot of
Cause you
sins.
can make music till you die. And I
Exactly.
never understand old schoolers. Like I lose a lot of respect for old school hip hop artists because
They sell
it's
out.
it's like, what have you done for me lately? You keep complaining about,
But it's like what? I'm
nobody's
sorry,
thinking about me. Nobody's thinking about me. But what have you done for me lately?
but like fuck lately. You know what I'm saying? Like if you really gotta think about it, it's really like does Michael Jordan need to still play basketball and be great at it? No, because he has it might be a bad comparison, but it's like one of my mentors when I was playing football. Like a lot of people didn't one of my coaches didn't want me to like I never got the opportunity to play, and this guy told me shut up, and like think about it like this: unless the motherfucker has more accolades than you,
Yeah,
more success than you don't have to listen to him.
yeah.
So if the motherfucker's already had success, you should probably open one ear. You know what I'm saying? So in that sense, you just if I've already done what I need to do, why do I need to prove myself to you again?
Yeah.
That I still got it? I did it. That was me back then. Now I'm chilling. I'm living life. Why do I have to do that? I am literally reaping the fucking benefits of my success.
Some of them know they feel like they should be getting as many streams as like these NBA young boys and
That's
stuff.
delusion. That's just
Yeah,
straight up delusion.
yeah.
You're living
That's
in the
that's my
past.
thing. I think there's a lot of delusion going on. Like they're not really.
You're living in the past. You
You
know what I'm
still
saying?
gotta kind of like do something to be relevant, right? Even if you're not making music.
Oh, of course. But I mean, that's if you want to. Like
Yeah,
for me,
if you want to. That's the key word, if you want to.
because
But
for
a
me,
lot
man,
of these old schoolers, they want to. They still want to be relevant.
but that's an ego thing, man. Ego versus like your soul. Like for me, man, look, if I have a music career that lasts 5, 10 years, I reach my successes, I make my money, my family, my friends' families, my people are taken care of. I'm getting the fuck out of here. I'm buying a fucking house on an island. I'm buying
Yeah.
a boat, and you ain't gonna hear from me again. I don't want to be relevant at that point. I made my mark in history, and I could die happy. So
Saying
that's
that,
just me.
do you think the music business is not necessarily built for longevity for everybody or built for
It's
longevity,
definitely,
period?
especially in this day and age, cancel
Yeah.
culture and all that. Cancel culture is ruining everything. Like you make one mistake and it's over for you.
Yeah.
Back in the day when they had cell phones and nothing was being recorded, you know how many fuck ups? That's why rock stars were so fucking crazy. And they did so much fuck, especially I love Motley Crue. They're literally my favorite band.
Yeah.
Like from that era. You know how much crazy shit these guys did? Fucked up shit these guys did, and they're still here. They're still performing to this day.
Yeah.
People still love them. You know what I mean? But now, if someone did what they did, now You're
Yeah.
done. Your
I
career's
just thought
over.
of somebody from your neck of the woods. He's actually American now. Tom McDonald.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Tory Lanez, because Tory
Tom
Lanez
and
actually
Tory Lanez is too. Yeah.
Tory
And
Lanez grew up in my city. He grew up in LaSalle, and
would
he
you say
moved.
he got canceled? Tory Lanez.
Nah, he's still got a fan
He
base.
still got a fan base.
He's still got a crazy fan
He
base.
some people actually sided with him more than they sided with
Megan,
Megan.
Yeah, but see, the
And
thing
he
is,
actually
like,
could rap. He could rap. He's
oh,
nice.
he's incredible, bro.
He's one of the nicer dudes out.
I used to follow him back in the Chicks Tape days, like coming up. You know what I mean? Like that was huge. That's when I fucked with Tory back before he was popping. You know, like I was a music head going up. I used to discover shit. But he grew up in LaSalle. I'm pretty sure he grew up in LaSalle for a couple of years, and then he moved to the six. So like he's been around. You know what I mean? Now he's I think he's out in, I want to say L.A. I mean, most of them go to L.A. But yeah, no, I feel you. But yeah, like guys like that, it is what it is. You know. So hey. Hey, yo, I'm just a big fan of just sinking your own ship. I let people sink their own ship, man. You make the mistake and you live with the karma that comes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The truth, like I said, the truth is always the truth, and you could only run so far before it shows itself.
All right, before we go, you think you want to say shout out? Definitely shout out your social media links.
Yeah, so I mean, me, it's just Instagram.com/ACTheKidFromSpace. That's AC, the kid from space, exactly how it sounds. I got Twitter too. That's ACKidFromSpace. And that's about it, man.
And
I
I'll
really
throw them in
appreciate you.
descriptions as well.
No, thank you. I really appreciate you, bro. Having me on here. It was a great chat and everything like that. And I wish you the best, man.
And you could come back on again anytime. If you got like a music video or whatnot you want to promote or a new single or whatnot, you know what I'm saying?
Now, I appreciate you, G. And you know what? We'll stay in touch, man.
And we'll get deeper into the Canadian conversation even more.
Yeah, for real. For real. We'll learn from both sides.
I
All right,
appreciate
love
it.
B. Love
All
B.
right, peace. All right. Once again, I want to thank y'all for tuning in. Paul Pickett Podcast, aka Triple P, aka the Common Sense Podcast. Hope y'all enjoyed the conversation. Canadian musician, AC the Kid from Space, and we out.